Look, I'm sorry. I really am. I'm sorry that I haven't uploaded since the first game of the Yankees series when Travis d'Arnaud hit the 3 home runs in the same game. That was like, 2 weeks ago? So let me just be the first to say, I apologize for the lack of recaps and uploads. Pretty much, summer is coming to an end, and I've just been trying to make the most of it and just really have been putting YouTube aside from my everyday life, so I hope you can respect that, and let's get back to business. The Rays become the first team since 1966 to win 8 games in Fenway Park in a single season, and that is a big deal because the team who did that in 1966, the Baltimore Orioles, won the World Series that year. Now, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Obviously, I don't expect the Rays to even make the World Series. Hell, I'm skeptical of them even making the playoffs. But coming into this series, the Red Sox and Rays were tied for the second wildcard spot, so this sweep was huge. Absolutely huge for the Rays. If you watch my live reaction to the trade deadline, very, very last second, the Rays made a trade with the Marlins to get Nick Anderson and Trevor Richards. Richards was optioned to AAA Durham, I believe, and Nick Anderson made his debut for the Rays today, coming in at the 8th inning. He's good. He's a good reliever. The Rays have had 0 good relievers all season. And I've never heard of Nick Anderson, probably because he's a Miami player. Miami's in the NL, Miami's also a bad team, so obviously I'm not too familiar with the roster. But Nick Anderson is good. He played good. He had a great inning. I even went as far as to call him Nasty Anderson. The Rays have just been dealing with bullpen blowing lead after lead after lead all season long. You know how refreshing it is to see a new guy we got from the trade deadline come in and only give up 1 hit and 2 strikeouts, 0 runs? Pretty damn good to see as a Rays fan. It's a really good sight to see. This was also the Rays' debut for 2018 All-Star Jesus Aguilar. I am not very familiar with a whole lot of names in the MLB, but when I got the notification that the Rays made a trade for Jesus Aguilar, I knew who that was. Probably because he was an All-Star last season. He's had a bounce-back year so far. He's only had 8 home runs thus far. Last season, he had 35 home runs in total. So I don't think he's going to have 35 this year, but the Rays seem to be pretty good at turning players around. Take, obviously, Al Garcia, for example. In the top of the first, Matt Duffy singles G-Man choice, scores 1-0 Rays. In the bottom of the first, Xander Bogaerts hits a 2-run home run. The Rays take a 2-1 lead. By the way, Brandon McKay was called up from Durham, and he started today for the Rays. Top of the second, G-Man Choi walks, and the bases were loaded, so Jesus Aguilar scores. And then Eric Sogard, another guy we got before the trade deadline from Toronto, we gave up practically nothing for him. He scored on a passed ball by the Red Sox catcher. Tommy Pham would then double and drive in Mike Zunino, making it a 4-2 ball game. Bottom of the 5th inning, Xander Bogaerts, another home run. 4-3 Tampa. In the bottom of the 6th, Jesus Aguilar would score on a fielder's choice, a ground out. It's 5-3. Eric Sogard would then score on a wild pitch, 6-3. Tommy Pham would then have his second double of the game, driving in Willie Adames, 7-3. Oliver Drake came in for the Rays, gave up a home run to Mookie Betts. Are you surprised though? Bullpen sucks. Has sucked all season. 7-4. Literally the bullpen is so bad, it's gotten to the point like we can have a 5-run lead in the 8th inning. I still don't think we win those games. Like, I literally put in my mind that we're going to lose. Just because I don't want to be disappointed or frustrated or whatever when the Rays blow that 5-run lead and lose. It should be expected every day. It's happened several times this season. It's embarrassing. Top of the 8th, Mike Zunino had a home run. Mike Zunino, the worst hitter on the Rays this season, had a home run. Can't remember the last time he had a home run. It's been a while. But when you give up a home run to Mike Zunino, you're not having a good day. In the top of the 9th, the Rays, to show no mercy, Austin Meadows would hit a home run, and that would be the final. 9-4. Brendan McKay gets the win. He's 2-1 now. I really like the Rays pitching staff. It's a shame that Tyler Glasnow and Blake Snell both had to be injured until at least September. It's just unfortunate, really. You know, to be tied with Boston for that second wildcard spot going into the series and coming out with a sweep, that's huge. I mean, that's absolutely huge. And in previous years, it's usually at the very beginning of August where the Rays they'll come out of a shitty July or a mediocre July, and then they'll finally win a series again. And you'll think, oh, they're good again. And then they just end up sucking for the remainder of the season. And they've done it a lot over these last few years. Take 2017, for example. We have a wild card spot the whole first half of the season. Second half starts, we're awful, and we don't recover from it. So, you know, yeah, we went into Boston, we swept them, but doesn't mean the Rays are back? I really don't know. I'm hoping this trade deadline, I wasn't a fan of the trades when they happened. but now I like them. Now I like them. I like Nick Anderson. I like Jesus Aguilar. I like Eric Sogard. The Rays didn't get any big-name guys, but did anybody really? I mean, Yasiel Puig was really the biggest name out there, and even he's not the biggest name player. I think a lot of fans throughout baseball agree that this was one of the more boring trade deadlines, including myself. I mean, just really there weren't any big-name guys really getting moved at all. So the Rays, obviously, they made some smaller moves, but smarter moves. That's why I'm hoping that it works out. First impression, I really like Jesus Aguilar. I really like Eric Sogard. I really like Nick Anderson. It's looking good so far. The Rays, starting tomorrow, start a 2-game series at the Trop versus Miami, and statistically, we're not a good team at home. We've pretty much got a 500 record at Tropicana Field this season, so we're a much better road team. Much better road team. I can't explain it, we just are. But anyways, with all that being said, Rays up, Rays win. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.